This is Dacia Moore, licensed professional counselor and president of Second Wind Counseling and Consulting, and I bet you have often wondered, why are so many students so angry? Well, part of the reason they're so angry is because they don't know how to solve conflict. They either explode or they stuff, which means they hold it in until the point where they can't take it anymore, and then they just go off. So as an educator, as a youth worker, as a concerned parent, your job, part of your job, is to help them learn how to manage conflict. But you need to know the stages of conflict, because this is the key word or key phrase: catch it early, catch it often. You want to make sure that you catch conflicts early so that you have an opportunity to discuss with the child what's going on before you get to the exploding phase. So there are 3 phases to any conflict, and I'm taking this from my book, Why Are So Many Students So Angry? And the 3 stages of a crisis are: number 1, the getting angrier phase; number 2, the exploding phase; and number 3, the aftermath. Now, the intensity and frequency and duration of the conflict will depend on where you catch it. Now, where do you think you should catch the conflict? At the beginning stage, absolutely, at the getting angrier phase. If you catch it early, you will be able to, first of all, diffuse the conflict, and secondly, use it as a teachable moment to help the child to manage the conflict in a more healthy way. Now, I know it's going to take a few minutes out of your teaching time, but it's worth it, because you know what? You're going to have to handle it anyway. If the conflict gets bigger and explodes, then you have a bigger situation and a potential safety issue. So here are some of the characteristics of the getting angrier phase. You have to pay attention to your class, to your students, and know when they're getting angry. Number 1, that's when distress begins. You have a student who begins to raise their voice. You begin to hear laughter in one corner of the room. You can anticipate there might be some conversation going on that might be inappropriate. The student begins negative and hostile self-talk, so they begin to rile themselves up. Be sure that you watch other students at that point, because they will alert you to what's going on in the classroom. And then one of the hallmarks is voices begin to get louder. If you notice this going on in your classroom, you can give a quiet activity and pull the student who appears to be the most upset to the side and have them use what I call the anger meter. The anger meter is a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the angriest, 1 being very little anger, and you can ask them, where are you on the anger meter? If they tell you that they're at a 7 or above, that means they are very, very upset and they need some downtime to calm down. What are some of the things that they can do? They can do a think sheet. I know you have those in your room. They can read quietly. You can have them write about something pleasant, something that they enjoy. But the key in handling conflict is catch it early, catch it often. And if you pay attention and make sure that it's part of classroom discussions when you have your class meeting, if students feel safe to alert you of any conflicts that are brewing, they can let you know that privately, write you a note, put it in your suggestion box, put it on your desk. But the key for you, if you really want to know why students are angry and reduce the angry encounters in your classroom, are to make sure that you catch it early and catch it often. So the getting angrier phase, if you can avert a crisis at stage number 1, the getting angrier phase, you can use it as a teachable moment, and your students will be able to recover more quickly, and you will not lose nearly as much class time as you would if you get to the exploding phase. But that's the next video. I'm going to tell you what to do when you get to the exploding phase, because there's some certain things that you can either make the conflict worse or you can de-escalate it. And so I want to make sure you know what to do then. Well, this is Dacia Moore giving you one more tip and tool to help disruptive students. Bye-bye.